Is Darnold not allowed to have one bad game before we all say he sucks again? Because I was one of them.
And I have no idea why. I have nothing to support this. Maybe Caleb Williams likes Michael Myers too.
So many girls that Flava Flav's probably going to sponsor his family or something.
If the Commanders were a pair of stockings, you would not wear them to work. A lot of runs.
Hey, Davis Mills had a great play last game. He really stuck his neck out there, guys.
At what point do the Browns think about leaving Cleveland?
I said that Jim Harbaugh wasn't going to do as much as Chargers fans thought. What an idiot I was, guys.
Baker is kind of like a beacon for dudes who get fired from mall jobs.
From Wondery, I'm Annie Agar, and this is The Offensive Line. Welcome to The Offensive Line, you guys. Happy New Year. We're here to make some picks, talk some shit, and hopefully make you some money. I'm Annie Agar, here with our guest today, a man of many podcasts, Sorry We Love Football, the In-Season podcast, and the Brandon Jamel Show. Welcome to the show, Jamel Johnson. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for saying all of those other shows. Unreal. Thank you.
Hey, you are a busy man these days. Wow.
The standard of talking has shifted so much. You used to host a radio show 5 days a week.
Yeah, do you notice it? It's amazing now how literally anything you say either needs to be in a podcast or in some sort of social media. Otherwise, it didn't even occur.
Living in Los Angeles, they make me register at least 3 podcasts to stay in town. I'm getting a tax credit. I'm getting a little knock off my light bill.
It's part of when you sign up for an apartment. Do you have a podcast? That's what they ask. Okay. Well, let's get into Wild Card Weekend. It's officially the end of the regular season. We've made it. I don't know how, you guys. It was a long season. 18 weeks is it's a long time. Let's start off with too offensive on this show, Jamel. This is what we do. These are stories that are too offensive for me to even discuss. So I talk about them for maybe 10 seconds and then toss them in the NFL trash bin to never be spoken about again. The first one, Tyreek Hill wants out of Miami, guys. And this is not the only athlete that wants out of Miami. Jimmy Butler, you ever heard of that guy? Also, the Patriots blew the number 1 overall draft pick and then fired their head coach after he blew the draft pick. We won't even get into that. And lastly, there were a couple coaches fired this week, as I said. Gerard Mayo, Doug Peterson, Gus Bradley with the Colts. We had some shifts. And the Bears, the sweet, sweet Bears, are looking to hire another sucker to coach their NFL team, if you can even call it that. And guess what? They're looking at Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy is a serious contender, along with Anthony Weaver, but we'll get into that later. Mike McCarthy, Jamel, first of all, thoughts on this? I, as a Packers fan, love it. I think he would be great. And now I know you're thinking, oh, you don't want to face him again in the NFC North. The man is, 60-something years old, 61 years old? Please, I would love to face him. He'll be like our Luke Getsy. He'll be another double agent. What are your thoughts on Mike McCarthy there, Jamel, being the Bears' successor to Matt Eberflus?
As a Commanders fan, watching him coach the Cowboys has been very strange. It seems like he's doing a good job, and then you hear he's making everybody watch Austin Powers in the locker room, and then this year takes place as the worst year of his run. I do think he'd be good for the Bears, and I have no idea why. I have nothing to support this. Maybe Caleb Williams likes Michael Myers too. You know,
somebody said on social media, I think it was on Twitter, wouldn't he fit on a Bears sideline not in January, because we all know they don't play in January, in like December, like mid-December, a cold Mike McCarthy on the Bears sideline. It just fits. It just works. I don't know why.
There's 700 of him in the stands at minimum.
That's why he is your typical Midwest person.
Yeah.
He just give him some cheese curds and he's good to go.
Always looks like he just finished a bratwurst.
It's like a bratwurst personified is Mike McCarthy. I'm glad we got to that realization together. Okay, let's get into some topics that are a little more important because they did make the postseason, unlike the team we just mentioned. Your Washington Commanders are playing at Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is -3. Yes, you guys heard it right. Jamel here is a Washington Commanders fan. Not many of those I know in my lifetime. Coincidentally, my producer is one of them. And then our guest today is also one of them. So let's talk about the Commanders. This is a tough game. This is a tough draw for Washington there. Why don't we start there? What are your immediate thoughts on playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
I'm sick of seeing them in the playoffs. This is the fourth time in the new millennium. We're 1-2, and our best and the win. I mean, this was 2005. So who was the quarterback? I think the first Sean King.
The most interesting thing about this matchup is the Marshawn Lattimore situation. If he's healthy, if he play, I think that is absolutely hilarious. And we're talking about Mike Evans. Mike Evans hit 1K. Is he concerning for you in this matchup?
I'm more concerned with Bucky Irving, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we can't stop any runs. I mean, if the Commanders were a pair of stockings, you would not wear them to work. Lot of runs. And
man.
and the pass defense.
A line of the day already? We just started.
I'm praying Marshawn Lattimore is okay because we've only got one other corner I believe in, St. Rastil, and we're playing St. Just out of some sort of obligation to community service or something. So I'm hoping Marshawn Lattimore and Mike Evans get tangled up in a Looney Tunes type cloud of smoke all game.
Yep.
And maybe we'll have a chance.
That's what somebody said. They said Bucky Irvin's going to be, running 20 yards down the field and over in the corner. It's like the George Pickens situation again. It's just Marshawn Lattimore and Mike Evans just duking it out.
Yeah.
It's going to be a great game, I think. Let's talk about Tampa Bay a little bit. And my other producer on the show is a big Tampa Bay fan. Do you believe in Baker? Is Baker, and this is a stretch, whoever wrote this up, and I've seen it debated on Twitter, so it is a true situation. Is he the best quarterback in the NFC?
Unfortunately, maybe.
Isn't that wild?
It's been tough.
Browns fans, how did we get here? How did you get here? That's who I feel bad for.
At what point do the Browns think about leaving Cleveland? That's for a different episode entirely. Back to Baker. I have been pro Baker all year. If you were really tracking the stats, if you're one of these advanced stat guys, he was having a lot of games really close to Josh Allen. For a point there, they were 1A, 1B for a few weeks this year. And I mean, I'm just so happy he's back. As a guy who's been fired from a GameStop, it's just good to just see that you can succeed. You can rise from the ashes. Baker is kind of like a beacon for dudes who get fired from mall jobs. and so it's really tough having to watch him, having to go against him. Me and all my guys who got fired from Yankee Candle, we're all watching him. He looks like he manages at Auntie Anne's. That's the thing, because he's not a tall guy.
He really does.
Yeah.
Well, remember when he dressed up, they had him go undercover and nobody recognized him. And it wasn't like he didn't have plastic surgery done or anything. He just had a mustache and a beard on. The dude is very average looking.
He just looks like,
and not in a bad way. Just
he should be handing you a gift card for your inconvenience. Hey, well, $50 gift card. Sorry about that. That's just what his face says. It
is. Absolutely. And now here he is, potentially making a deep run in the playoffs. Impressed with him. I'm impressed. Remember they had him running, what was he, like backup D tackle for the Panthers when he was playing there in practice. The man did not get respected at all. And now he's potentially playing for a Super Bowl. Do I think they'll make it there? That's another story. But it's looking great. Let's switch to Commanders' side because I know that's near and dear to you. The Commanders' expectations this year, and we'll throw this back at the end of the season. If they make it there, I said the Commanders would win the NFC East. I was very high on the Commanders because of Jaden Daniels, but it felt like you guys maybe didn't have high expectations this year because of the uncertainty with new GM, new offensive coordinator, new coach, new rookie quarterback. So do you feel like you're playing with house money right now, making it this far in the season? Or are you just expecting, no, this is Commanders. We knew this was going to happen.
I did not expect any of this. I was absolutely with you. And it wasn't that I didn't believe in Jaden Daniels. It was that I didn't believe in anything that the Commanders could do. Like, I didn't believe anybody involved could make the correct decision. And I'm watching Jaden Daniels highlights, and I'm like, he looks good, but if we picked him, it must be wrong. and it wasn't, which was really, first off, it was scary. When we beat the Bengals, I was legit afraid. I was like alone in my house. I ordered an ADT. I was like, I don't know what's about to happen. I'm super scared. And then I kind of calmed down. Then we beat the Bears, and I'm like, okay, well, they should just hand us the Super Bowl right now because we just ended the Bears. I mean, that should be worth something.
Right. That was honestly their downfall, too. After that Tyreek Stevenson situation, it all went downhill from there. Are you, this is more of a question because this happened to the Texans a little bit with their rookie quarterback. Are you worried about a potential fall off next year? And I know we're looking ahead, you guys, because you're thinking, okay, we're in the playoffs, like let the Super Bowl happen. But are you worried about a little bit of a fall off because the expectations were lower? They far exceeded them. Now are we thinking, well, expectations are up here. Now it's like a surplus. Like, we haven't fit it. We haven't matched it yet. So now next year is it going to be lower?
Well, the East, nothing happens exactly the same in the East every year. So there's that. And I mean, throughout the season, you can see the flaws. I mean, Jaden is a guy who, I mean, he's not the strongest guy. He's very elusive, but there's some injury worries. If he takes a big hit, those little riblets of his, who knows? And our defense needs a lot of stuff. I mean, Bobby Wagner changed things around pretty drastically, but I mean, we're not good. And how many years does he have left? The defense is the big concern for me next year because eventually we're going to have to stop someone.
That's what we did. You can't just put up 50 every game and expect to win.
Right.
That was what we talked about at the beginning of the season a little bit because that was clear and present issue. And then like the whole Jane Daniels thing. He's smaller. The rib injuries. If he went down, you didn't know how long it would take him to recover. It was an issue. But here they are. They've made it this far. And you know what, Jamel? I'm glad to see that you are a realistic Commanders fan. In my opinion, what you just said makes you very understanding, very self-aware. So we're going to play a little game. This is called the price of happiness. Commanders fans haven't been this happy since the 90s, and we know you wouldn't trade it for anything, or would you? Today, I'm going to be creating hypothetical trades to see how delusionally attached to the Commanders you are. Are you ready?
Absolutely.
Okay, so here's how it's going to go. So I would say, Terry McLaurin, would you trade him for blank? And then we'll keep going up and see what level of delusion you're at, okay? So Terry McLaurin, would you trade him for Keenan Allen straight up?
Absolutely not. That's the craziest thing I've ever, no.
Okay, we'll keep going. What about Nico Collins?
No.
No, I wouldn't either. Now here we get a little hairy. Amon-Ra.
St. Brown?
Yep.
I thought you were talking about maybe the sun god Ra from like ancient Egypt.
Then, yeah, absolutely.
And then maybe, I don't know what his 40 time is, but maybe, no, I'm sorry, right with St. Brown? No. All
right, here we go. Last two, Jamar Chase. I see the hesitation.
No.
What about Justin Jefferson? Straight up for Terry McLaurin. Would you trade away Scary Terry?
Can I trade myself? Can I trade my own self to the Vikings?
Look, there were rules to this game, Jamel.
All right. I'd rather have Chase than Jefferson. But
yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
That's a tough one.
They're standing true.
These Commanders fans are hardcore. All right, let's make it a little worse. Jaden Daniels, would you trade him for, let's start off easy, CJ Stroud?
No.
Nope. I think he's a higher ceiling, so I would agree with that. What about Joe Burrow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also no.
Okay. So we've reached the peak of delusion here. This is pretty good. And then obviously it gets better from there. Lamar. Would you trade him for Lamar?
That's very interesting because the whole city secretly loves Lamar. When we played Baltimore this year, my brother, the biggest Commanders fan I've ever met, as soon as they changed the name, he had a keychain the next day. Didn't even know they were printing them. Didn't even know how he found out the name. Loves the team more than anything. Loves Lamar Jackson more than that. When the Commanders played the Ravens this year, there was a hit. There was a debatable hit on Lamar on a third down. The guy, he wasn't even out of bounds yet. It was a legal hit. It was just kind of hard. My brother jumps off the couch like, "Don't hurt him." He said this in front of all of us, his whole family. It's like, dog, what are you talking about? It's football.
Well, you're so close. It makes sense. It's like it's just a block down the road.
And I would trade him for Lamar because we would have Lamar next year. That means he would play for us. I say trade and he's available. It's not like one of these like hypotheticals where I have to wait 10 years for like
you
the
get
tax code to change.
Right. you get immediate reinforcement.
I get Lamar Jackson today. Wow.
Who wouldn't take that offer?
Please don't tell Jaden Daniels I would play Joe Burrow. Don't tell him I said that.
Send this podcast episode to him specifically.
Don't.
Watch 22 minutes in.
Please.
All right, the 2024 season, a success. It has been quite the success. Would you trade this year and the success you're having for $100,000 in your bank account? You personally. $100,000, but the season goes away. Would you trade for that?
Nah.
Wow.
No.
What a diehard fan.
And $100,000 would save my life. I'm dying.
Yeah, well, people say money doesn't buy happiness. They just have not had enough money yet. Okay, what about 500,000?
500 bands? But what's our record? We would be 4-12 again?
You'd be 0-17.
0-17?
You lose this, the season would be terrible. It'd be the worst season. You'd have to trade it for 500,000.
We'd be worse than the Giants? Nah.
That's pretty low.
You guys can have it.
All right, what about $1 million? This is like deal or no deal. $1 million, you have the worst season the Commanders have ever had, but you get $1 million.
It would have to be $10 million because I would have to go home and pay everybody who I caused this to.
All your family members that you caused.
I'd have to break off like
that's
50
a good deal.
people. But
that's a good
Yeah.
Okay, all right, let's do a couple quick ones. Let's start with ownership, and this is a tough one. The Josh Harris ownership. Snyder is still your owner, but you win a Super Bowl. Would you trade for that? Would you get Snyder back, but you win a Super Bowl?
I mean, but us winning that Super Bowl, like, would the Super Bowl win even be legal? You sure it wouldn't end up contested? I love all these
speculations. It would be legal. It would happen.
It would be 100% street legal.
It would be Snyder for the future. You'd have Dan Snyder for the immediate future.
Ah, man, I can't, man. Nah, man, I can't.
This is stressing him out so much.
Yeah.
All right,
this dude had us on C-SPAN. They had government hearings because of this fool. I don't know if I could. No.
Okay, and lastly, Magic Johnson's tweets. Those of you that don't know, Magic Johnson's tweets, big Commanders thing. They're funny. They're enjoyable. They're entertaining. Would you give up his tweets, but you would get the old Twitter back? And I don't know if you're a big Twitter/X fan here.
Oh, of course.
I love Twitter wholeheartedly. Would you give up Magic Johnson's tweets to get the old Twitter back?
Bro, for sure. Because we could get somebody else. Because then we would still have like Cher's tweets. We'd have Cher's tweets or Reba McEntire tweets or, you know what I mean? We have some other old celeb tweets we could get by with those, man. Twitter right now is, and it's, you know what's sick about Twitter? It's only bad when something happens in sports.
I haven't, honestly, I have not noticed that yet. I frequent Twitter like it is. I mean, my screen time on Twitter is it's so bad. It's so bad. I love Twitter. I can't call it X. I just call it Twitter. But
Twitter.
It's the best. And tweeting is the best. And it's instant. You just see things instantly. And it's the best comedy. I mean, you know about comedy. It is the best comedy I've ever seen than when people are on Twitter. I think it's just hilarious. It's like our kind of comedy, like just making fun of people. Okay, let's make a pick for this game. So we see where your level of delusion is. I would say it's pretty low. I think you're a pretty rational Commanders fan. That being said, you now have to pick a winner for this game. So as I said, Washington at Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is -3. Who are you taking, Jamel, to win this game?
I got to pick in front of everybody.
In front of everybody. In front of America.
We played them week 1.
Live with it for the rest of your life.
We played them week 1, and was it a 1-point game? I'm picking the Commanders, whatever. For no good reason.
3, no, you guys, no, they blew you guys out.
It ended up being a blow?
37-20.
Oh, jeez.
Dang
I mean, sure.
Maybe you are a little delusional, Commander.
It's Baker's shining moment, man. This is supposed to be it, and it's a pretty good matchup for Baker. I don't know what the Bucs defense is up to.
Yeah.
I'm expecting a shootout. Honestly, I'm taking the over on points on both teams.
All right. I like that. I think I'm going to go. I've been going with Washington all year. Why not? I'll take Washington +3. Let's go. Let's ride.
Come on down. The Commanders.
I would love to.
The Commanders cabin.
I just will not be at spring training. Wow, at training camp because I went there 2 years ago, and it is hot as.
Yeah.
It's so Oh my God.
This is in Richmond?
Yes. And the field
scores?
is kind of it's in kind of a dip.
Yeah.
So there's no breeze. There's no air. The poor players, I can't even imagine it.
Just a mosquito zone.
Oh, yeah.
It's like practicing in an oven bag.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. Let's talk about this game, guys. Green Bay at Philadelphia. Jamel, I'm a Green Bay Packers fan. I think I mentioned that early on in the show. Philly's -4.5. The last time they played each other was a little south of here. They were in Brazil, okay, on a terrible, atrocious field. Things are different this week, though, okay? Things are different than week 1, but Philly's still favored by 4.5. Doesn't make me feel good. Your team beat the Eagles. Do you think, personally, they are Super Bowl contenders?
I do think the Eagles are Super Bowl contenders. I mean, once they tell me where Jalen Hurts is,
right?
Once you just show me where he is, and I'll say they're a Super Bowl contender.
Kenny Pickett and Tanner McKee both beat the Cowboys. Not that that's saying much, but their backups are pretty good. But Jalen Hurts, we need to know. We need to know what's going on. Even if he's not 100%, this team is so scary to me, and I'm deeply concerned for my Packers in this game.
Yeah, I mean, you should be. Saquon on a week's rest.
I know.
Everybody's
that's the issue. They're all arrested. It's just going to be, when you have all these star guys, it's going to be how much Nick Sirianni pulls them together in the playoffs, because that team dynamic was a bit of an issue, as we've seen throughout the year. If Hurts is a bit rusty, do you think there is a better chance Green Bay comes away with this one? Because our defense, man, our defense has been solid all year up until last game was a bit of an issue. Jeff Hafley, not sure what he was doing on certain looks there on the defensive side of the ball, but I think we have a shot. And Christian Watson, as you heard, he's out, torn ACL, RIP. Sucks. It really, really sucks. That pained me to see, because he's such a huge part of that offense. I'm dead serious. Like, that, we're a totally different team, and we have that downfield threat. And Jordan Love, it might not be completely 100%. I don't know really what's going on there, but playoff Jordan Love might be a different beast. Do you see them posing a big threat to this Philadelphia Eagles team?
I do, and Josh Jacobs could be a very big part of this. And Christian Watson, I think he's good, but I also think him being out could be a blessing in disguise. You guys got a weird group of receivers. They all seem like number 2s. They all seem like great number 2s. So kind of clear it up for Jaden Reed, because he was as Christian Watson found his way, Jaden Reed got lost in the shuffle. If he steps up, it'll be like, no harm done. And I like Tucker Kraft and I like Jacobs. It's just, I mean, what is up with Jordan Love's arms?
Yeah.
Maybe you play with metal arms? I don't know.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be awesome. And Matt LaFleur, I have a bone to pick with Matt LaFleur. We'll get into this later in my, this is a little part of my rant. But I don't know what is going on with the play calling sometimes. It's atrocious, especially in the red zone, particularly on 3rd and 4th down. I'm not quite sure what we're doing. I don't know what our game plan is here, because I don't think they know. So that's a bit of an issue. But let's pick a winner for this game. Green Bay at Philly. Like I said, Philly is -4.5, and it's in Philadelphia. That's the concern. That's a huge concern for me. It's going to be cold. It's going to be a brutal environment. Oh, man, I'm just not feeling good about this. And I try to be a very optimistic person. Feeling concerned, guys. So I'll let you pick first, Jamel.
You guys, hey, man, Green Bay, that's still in Wisconsin, right? Y'all ready for some cold? Y'all are ready for some cold?
I thought that against the Detroit game, and we look like we never experienced cold weather a day in our lives. God.
I think the Eagles win. I think this is one of those ones where the Eagles win, but the Packers do cover. I just think the Eagles fan base is on a knife edge. Yeah. And the team is, if Jalen Hurts comes out, a couple misconnections with AJ Brown could send the building completely sideways. These people are coming in the building blackout drunk. So if they see one thing they don't like, it could go haywire fast.
Yep.
And that's kind of your best bet, is just maybe absolute the pass game looks a little shaky and then the building crumbles beneath this.
Love it. Love it. We need some chaos. I would love that. I got to go with Green Bay here. I got to take them. I'm going to take a money line. I got to take Green Bay to win this game.
I respect it.
It's just, it's part of it's in my being. I have to do it. I think Jordan Love is going to throw, their secondary, Eagles secondary is so good with Reed Blankenship and I don't even want to get into it. Jordan Love, I'm concerned. I think he'll throw a few picks, but I do think Green Bay will win this game. I'm going to take Green Bay in this one. Coming up next, guys, we have the biggest rivalry in the AFC. Stay right here on the offensive line. Playoffs. We're talking playoffs. Guys, you bet we are. Get in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. You guys know that scoring touchdowns is key to winning in the playoffs, and you can score big by betting on them at DraftKings, the #1 place to bet touchdowns. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code TOL. That's code TOL for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over, age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
Welcome back to the offensive line, you guys. Our next game is a matchup we are all too familiar with. We have the Steelers and Ravens. They'll face off for the third time this year. The Ravens are favored by a whopping 10. They're -10, you guys. The Ravens won the last matchup by 17, but they usually play it pretty tight. So let's start there. Lamar. We'll start with Lamar. Multi-time MVP, as we know, potentially again this year. But if he doesn't prove it in the playoffs, do we really care? Lamar's passer rating in the regular season is 102. In the playoffs, it's 75. And the Steelers-Ravens, this matchup is very interesting to me. It's perplexing because they've only won 2 of the last 10 matchups for some odd reason, and the Steelers always play them super close. It's like they're perfectly matched up. There's no better way to say it. So this was a terrible draw for them. But Lamar, what are Lamar's chances in this playoff, this time around in the playoffs? Because they have Derrick Henry. So John Harbaugh can't abandon the run this time.
It's having Henry does change things. Steelers definitely have had their number. The playoffs have had Lamar's number. But the team looks a little different going into this tournament. I feel the momentum coming off the Ravens since they smoked the Texans on Christmas. He didn't eat that cake. The guy is focused. That showed me a different level of focus from Lamar, and I think they welcome the Steelers in round 1 because I think that for them, you beat the Steelers, okay, fine. It doesn't matter who else is next.
Right. Quick question. This is a very serious question, and this will tell me a lot about you. Would you have eaten that cake? The cake made out of a football is the one you're referring to.
I would have 100% eaten the cake.
It was red velvet.
If I'm the player of the game and they're talking to me on the first ever Netflix football game, I'm eating the cake.
Yeah. I guess that's why we're not up for MVP here, Jamel.
Exactly, bro. I'm also not. I checked. I asked the voters. They did not vote for me.
Yeah. Well, that's a shame. Next year. We'll get them next year. All right, let's pick a winner for this game. Pittsburgh at Baltimore. Like I said, -10 seems crazy, but it's also it's the playoffs. Anything can happen. What are your thoughts?
10 seems high. The Ravens had a tough time getting out of the gates against the Browns last week. I did take note of this.
Played.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I put my glasses. I shifted my glasses when I saw that. But I'm definitely picking the Ravens. I'm picking the Ravens, and I guess you can't go money line. Whatever. Yeah, Ravens by $1 million. Right. Let's do it.
Ravens by $1 million. I love it. I'm just going to go opposite here because we have to disagree on things. I'll take Pittsburgh to cover. I'm going to take Pittsburgh +10.
Pittsburgh's offense is just nasty. It's just
terrible.
It makes me really upset.
Russell Wilson, I don't know what. Oh, because he was on a hot streak midseason there for a little bit. Looked great. The whole Justin Fields situation that they benched him for Russ looked great. It was a good game plan. Mike Tomlin, everything was flowing. George Pickens. Now, Russ had the stupidest 2-minute drill I've ever seen in my life. Forgot apparently how to throw the ball. Started running around. It was dumb. It was bad.
Free Fields. Free Justin Fields.
Free Justin Fields. He heard that I'm in Chicago, so I'm used to hearing that. Okay, we talked about Lamar. Now it's time to talk about, in my opinion, the MVP. Just kidding, you guys. There's an argument here. We'll talk about that in a minute. But Josh Allen and the Bills. And I when we talked about this, when we were talking about the show, I said who I thought my MVP was. But after thinking about it a little bit harder, I may have switched up. I'm not sure. But this is the game. First of all, we're getting ahead of ourselves here, okay? Mm-hmm. Denver at Buffalo. Buffalo's -8.5. Another huge spread on this game. All the other games are pretty close. These two, though, whew. And I want to say my MVP argument here is because if we go based on stats, then yes, it is Lamar. So it depends on how you're looking at this award because it is MVP. So are they most valuable because of the stats that they bring to the table, or are they most valuable because of what they bring to the team? Josh Allen, in that sense, is more valuable. I think this is such a debate. I've seen so many articles and so many tweets and so many video clips about this. It's so hard. I'm so glad I don't have a vote in this because it's really hard. So Josh Allen averages 3 points per drive, top 5 historically in the NFL. He brings so much to the Bills. Not saying Lamar doesn't, but that's the conversation. That's the argument. So what's your MVP argument here? What's your discussion? Who do you think will win the MVP?
I've gone back and forth on this, and I have to say Lamar because it's now a political thing. Lamar Jackson is now the Shirley Chisholm of football, and I'm rolling with it. But if the eye test was screaming Josh Allen at me too, what if Tim Tebow knew how to throw? I feel like Josh, I wish there was like some sort of like elevated version of most improved we could give him. Because he's also improved his game. That's what makes it really hard. He cut down the turnovers. They clearly look like a better team. Yeah. And I want to give him some credit for that. But I mean the Lamar stats jump off the page and it's do you like the numbers or who appears the most valuable to their team? The answer is both teams would fall apart without both of these guys. Right. Neither of them would survive. Yeah. I think I'm leaning toward Lamar. I love watching Lamar, and it's not obviously I know an aspect of just who you love to watch play. When Lamar lost to the Steelers earlier this year, I was ready to throw. Get off my TV, Lamar, get out of my life. But then they fixed it. Then they got it together, and I can't deny it. Also, Josh threw a touchdown to himself this year. Right? We're doing things we've never seen, man. He's the team's red zone. He's the short yardage back and the quarterback. I literally tweeted out the meme of the guy throwing the ball up in the air and catching it himself early in the season. This was back when Stephon Diggs wanted out. And I said, Josh Allen's going to be throwing to himself. And he did, guys. He did. This is a tough MVP race. What if Lamar was Derrick Henry? That is what Josh Allen is. Yeah, that's a great point. It's crazy. And I don't think it's to Lamar's detriment that he has Derrick Henry. I think it might show you he's still getting these numbers with an insane backfield as well. It's so hard. They're going to play each other in round 2, and then we can we can all watch it together. I wouldn't mind if they should just play rock, paper, scissors for it. Honestly, nobody would be mad. It's a very diplomatic way of handling it. I think you're onto something. I've called the league many times. I could see that. They probably have a restraining order, but it's okay. Okay. So this game, Denver at Buffalo, -8.5. Bengals should have been playing in this game if it weren't for the Chiefs. Laying a big goose egg, although they didn't really have any desire to win that game anyway. They almost didn't even make it off the tarmac because their plane got stuck. Do you think the Chiefs ruined this for all of us? Because now we have to watch Denver against the Bills instead of the Bengals against the Bills, a classic. I mean, I'm sure that the Bills have lived through a couple of recent playoff nightmares, historically playoff nightmares. So I'm sure they're doing their best to just be like, we need to beat whoever. We're not thinking about like what the cosmos has to say. Yeah. And I'm sure they welcome a rookie quarterback coming to town, coming to Buffalo. Yeah. I could see I got the Bills covering, whatever. Blowout. I was going to ask you what your pick is. You're going to take the Bills to cover? I'm going to take the Bills at exactly 8. Yeah. Was that a push? No. Well, it's 8, and we have it at 8.5. If it drops down to 8, then it will. Then. But Denver, I'm not sold on Denver.
I think Denver might put up a little bit of a fight, a little bit more of a fight for one man in particular, Patrick Surtain. When you play man on Buffalo, when you put a lot of, their pass rush has been great this year. I think they were talking about on Get Up the other day, and the Eagles back in 2022 on their Super Bowl run, they had 70 sacks. The Broncos have 62 or 63. So this defense is great. PS2, loved watching play. I'm going to take the Broncos to cover. I'm going to take them to cover. I'm doing a lot of covering today.
Well,
wow.
The Bills, another fan base that if things don't feel right, the energy in the building will sink immediately.
It does. There's lots of pressure, lots of tables to be broken. Coming up, guys, our most offensive game of the week and possibly the most offensive quarterback in the playoffs. Welcome back to the offensive line, guys. The Rams are hosting the Vikings for the second time this year. They won the first matchup 30-20. Minnesota is a road favorite by 1.5. Let's start with the Vikings. Is Darnold not allowed to have one bad game before we all say he sucks again? Because I was one of them. I very highly, but I'm never not one to jump on the Vikings when they start sucking. But is he allowed to stutter a little bit, to fumble a little bit, and then
he has a bad game,
overthrow maybe 5 touchdowns?
I mean, my heart says no. My heart says Sam's got to win this game to validate all of this, to ensure the contract, which is unfair, because he's already done some stuff that nobody thought he could. How many quarterbacks that the Panthers didn't believe in are in these playoffs?
Oh, isn't that wild? It's wild. Baker, Sam. It's unbelievable to me how that and the Browns, but you also think too, maybe they wouldn't have had this success because it was the organization. And now they have an organization that actually appreciates them.
Sure.
But it's wild. It is wild. And Sam I did not give him any credit at the beginning of the year. I thought the Vikings were going to finish dead last in the division. And now they're in the wild card. It's pretty wild.
I give Justin Jefferson a lot of credit for this as well, because I think people wanted to give him the diva tag. Mm-hmm. Like, did he want to play with Kirk ever? Now he has to play with Sam Darnold. Oh boy. Oh, woe is Justin Jefferson.
Right.
They
turned that want to get out.
Right. Yeah. Not at all. He stood in and said, sure. Yes. Who is that?
Atta baby.
Yeah. Give me the ball.
That's why I love him. I absolutely love him. He came out, I don't remember what the video was for, but he came out with the video. I think it was when he signed his big deal. And just the most humble guy. I just love him. I love Justin Jefferson. Some people ask me when I'm doing my videos and making fun of everybody, if there's certain people I don't like making fun of, he would absolutely be one of them.
Come on.
And it sucks because if they do anything wrong, I'm like, I can't do it. Can't do it.
The Vikings lost this game earlier this year too. I listened to it in the car. I live in Highland Park. I was in the car from Culver City. So for your LA listeners, that's a 6-hour car ride. Across town.
Brutal.
Heard the entire game.
Wow, that's a long one. That's LA for you or California for you. It's a long hike. Yeah, if the Vikings lose to the Rams next week, they'll be 0-4. Again, this is wild to me, against the Lions and the Rams, and 14-0 against literally everybody else. This is a wild matchup. Stafford, let's talk about the Rams. What are Stafford's chances of having another legendary playoff run in him? As we all know, Super Bowl run. He has Cooper Kupp back. They have Puka Nacua back. They're 100% healthy. He's a Super Bowl winning he's a Super Bowl winning head coach, and he's a Super Bowl winning quarterback, which, as we all know, adds a lot to a team that's trying to win another Super Bowl. Just experience alone is a lot. So what are the chances he has this legendary playoff run again?
Decent. The Rams getting their guys back was crucial. I think they were right to rest guys. Getting that week off was huge, because there's a debate. It's like, do you play? Do you get the lesser opponent? Oh, they're going to play a 14-win team. It's like, I think Stafford has seen every level of opponent, and he just needed a nap.
Yeah.
I think what was more important than who the secondary he was, what the coverage was, just let this old man sleep for a week.
He has like 10 girls at home too. I'm just kidding. He has like 3.
Dog, he's got a whole field hockey team at the house.
Right.
And a week off was probably amazing for him.
so many girls that Flava Flav's probably going to sponsor his family or something. Okay. Let's pick a winner for this game. Minnesota at the Rams. Who are you taking?
Oof. I'm taking Minnesota, and this is all because of Jimmy Garoppolo. Curse Jimmy Garoppolo's name. You deserve nothing but pain and anguish for the rest of your time in the NFL for blowing that game against the Seahawks. This was supposed to be Commanders Rams, and I was supposed to go there dressed like Chief Z, and nobody was going to kick me out for being potentially offensive.
Oh,
it's whatever, Jimmy. And so you guys are losing because of this.
Yeah. I like that. That's a good rant. Suck it. Oh man, this is a tough one.
It's tough,
I'll
man.
I'll take the Rams. Screw the Vikings. I can't do in division. I don't want the Vikings to make it any further.
Why would you? And I feel like and of all the teams, the Vikings did look shaky. I mean, the Lions just blew them out in front of everybody.
Yeah.
Their run attack is just fine.
Yeah.
You know?
Aaron Jones. And I love Kevin O'Connell. I think he is a great quarterback coach. Look what he's done. Look what he's done with Sam Darnold. But I don't think it'll be enough, and I'm taking the Rams. Okay. All right, Jamel, it's time for one of my favorite parts of the show, our most offensive game of the week. Now, I know you're thinking, oh, it's the playoffs. We probably won't have a most offensive game of the week. We do, okay? And this week, it is the LA Chargers at the Houston Texans, and the Texans are +2.5. The Texans, the reason why this game is my most offensive game is because the Texans are only here because they were better than the Jags, the Colts, and the Titans, which is not saying much. The bar is pretty low, guys.
I'm so tired of seeing the Texans at 3:30 on a Saturday. This has been happening for almost 20 years. And the game
So
is
are they,
always
probably.
It's so whack. Davis
Why
Mills.
do they do that? What is the point of that?
The fact that Davis Mills is still on the team, it's all disgusting. It's all void. I hope the Chargers blow these fools out.
Hey, Davis Mills had a great play last game. He really stuck his neck out there, guys.
Bro, he did the ridiculousness logo.
It was ridiculous.
It's crazy.
It was wild. Full Scorpion. If you haven't seen it, go check it out, guys. Okay, let's make a pick for this game. I mean, who do you trust less, CJ or Justin Herbert? In your opinion, who?
I guess I'm going with Herbert, but only because the Texans can't keep a receiver on the field. They're dealing with injuries in that department, and also it's like, can Joe Mixon beat the Chargers front four? Seems like probably not. Going with the Bolts. Bolt up.
And Quentin Johnston can now catch, apparently. He made a great one-handed catch last game. So that's good. Don't know where that was all year. Okay, Chargers at Houston, -2.5. You're taking LA, correct?
The Bizzolts. Bolts for butts.
I, as well, am taking the Chargers. Go Jim Harbaugh. And you guys can roast me for it. On the show, actually, I said that Jim Harbaugh wasn't going to do as much as Chargers fans thought. What an idiot I was, guys. That's why we're here. We're self-deprecating on this show. Okay, now it is time for, as I mentioned at the start of the show, Super Bowl pick. I have a prediction that I believe I'm going to share with you guys. Don't come for me, okay? Jamel, are you ready to make your Super Bowl prediction?
Not quite, but I will.
Okay, good. We're just going to peer pressure you into making it. Drum roll, please. I am taking, in this year's Super Bowl, in the great city of New Orleans, the Detroit Lions. Johnny, shout out to my brother. He's going to freak out. You guys had to know I was going to take Detroit because it's the Super Bowl America wants against the Buffalo Bills. Yes, I do think that they can win and make it to a Super Bowl. I would love to see either of these teams win. It would be a win for America. That's why I'm taking them. So I'm going to take Detroit versus Buffalo in New Orleans. Jamel, what's your pick? We are stressing this man out.
Ooh, you know what?
No.
Listen, Vegas is never wrong about anything. Lions, Chiefs, and it's not going to be fun. It's not going to be fun. The Chiefs' run through the AFC playoffs is going to be some of the most infuriating television since the end of Game of Thrones. You're going to wonder how they even got dragons. They're going to let these fools play with dragons.
That's a great comparison. Honestly, that's a great comparison. It's going to suck. It's going to suck. Have you looked at the colors of the Super Bowl logo? I think that was debunked last year, though.
Oh, right.
Because
That was the first time it was off, right? In like a long time.
I think there's some red in it, though, in case anybody cares. But the Bills are partially red, so.
That's true.
You know. Kansas City, man. If it's Kansas City again, I'm going to lose it. Now might be a great time for some venting, actually. This brings us to our next segment. It's called No Offense, Jamel. This is my favorite part of the show. I say that about every part of the show. But this is a time to rant, to vent about something that's really bothering you inside. It's called No Offense. All you have to do is start out by saying no offense, but, because everybody knows when you say no offense, it's not going to be offensive. So I'll start. I'll go on my little rant. And then if there's anything you would like to vent about, you will have the floor to do so. Sound good?
Yes.
All right, let's get started. All right, guys, no offense, but Packers fans, we need to calm the F down, okay? Everybody is overreacting. I've seen every tweet this week from the Eagles are putting up 50 on us, to Matt LaFleur has CTE play calling, to Jeff Hafley is Joe Barry 2.0. That was on me, though. I was the one that tweeted that one out, so just ignore that one. Guys, I know how bad this looks, okay? I know about the Christian Watson injury. I know there's no Jair. I know there's no Evan Williams. We might waste another first-round draft pick. I get that, okay? The Bears streak is over. Things are bad, but it could be a lot worse. So everybody just calm down, okay? We're acting softer than Gerard Mayo, and this is not the team that I know and love. This is not the fan base that I know. So buck up, go chug a beer, snort some cheese, and man up, okay?
Solid. I believe it. My barber's a Packers fan. I don't even know
Is he really?
how he feels.
Smart
I haven't seen him yet.
Smart man.
I gotta. Hopefully he's doing okay. Okay, I do now. I do one. Okay, no offense, but Najee Harris, who told you was a lead back, man? Why don't you? Hey, I really apologize because I went to summer camp with him, but
No way.
brother, actually I'm lying. But listen, dog, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of your antics, okay? You keep popping up off these 3.5 yard runs like you was really going to break it. Oh, man, I almost broke that one. Man, if you do not cut them dreads and get more aerodynamic, you're too big to be acting like this. Figure something out. Move to tight end.
I like it.
Anything,
and the fumbles.
dog.
And the fumbles.
Hey, you're fumbling all over the place. I'm done with it.
Get out of here. I liked it. That was a good one. That's a good rant. Do you feel better about yourself now?
I do feel a little better, and he's definitely going to have a big game now. Historically, whenever I have made fun of Najee Harris, smart. He goes
now
off.
You bet on him. Now you bet on him. And it's perfect. You're a brilliant man.
It's a guarantee
he scores
out
here.
So take that into account,
He's going to have the
listeners.
best game of his life. No fumbles. 1 million carries. Oh, man. Okay, now that we got that off our chest and Najee's going to have an insane game, let's go over our picks that we had on the show today. So there was a couple we agreed on, a couple we did not. We'll start with the ones we agreed on. Washington +3 at Tampa Bay, Green Bay +4.5 at Philly, and the Chargers -2.5 at Houston. Jamel, you picked Baltimore -10 against Pittsburgh, Buffalo -8.5 versus Denver, and Minnesota -1.5 at the LA Rams. I picked the Steelers +10 at Baltimore, Denver +8.5 at Buffalo, and the Rams +1.5 versus the Minnesota Vikings. Those are I feel pretty confident about our picks there. I feel pretty good.
I feel good too. It's definitely going to be an interesting week. Some intriguing matchups.
Intriguing. It's weird going from like 1 million games to now 6. It's going to be really strange. But we have college football playoff as well.
You ever gone 13-0?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Me
Actually,
neither.
I came close. You haven't either?
Hell no.
Man, I came close because I usually do a pick 'em. Well, I bet on every NFL game in a random parlay, of course. And I came close. I think it was last year. It was 1 game off, and I believe it was the Chiefs. That's probably why I have so much hatred for them.
Yeah.
They screwed me out of a couple $1,000s. Ridiculous.
This is what happens when you play with them. You can't mess with them guys.
No, it's terrible. It's terrible. It's some dark magic going on over there. All right, Jamel, thanks for joining us today. You can find him, don't forget, guys, on Sorry We Love Football. I'm going to list them off again, Jamel.
Oh, man.
The In-Season Podcast and the Brandon Jamel Show. Why didn't your name come first in that show, by the way?
Hey, listen, man, I got grandfathered in. It was alphabetical.
Right? Oh, yeah. Okay.
You know?
Well, that makes more sense. Alphabetical. Well, I appreciate you joining us today, and hopefully you'll come back. Hopefully we didn't scare you away. We talked a lot of Commanders stuff though, right? So
this is the first time I've gotten to talk about it in weeks. People in LA don't care.
Oh,
So thank
good. You are so welcome. Come on anytime. It'll be your little venting session. I'll sit here and listen. We'll make jokes together, roast a few people. It'll be great.
You got to come by Sorry We Love Football too. We'll get, one of these Zoom apps, please.
Absolutely. I'm there. My people will talk to your people.
We'll get them. I think it might be the same people.
It probably is. Even better. They'll talk to themselves. That's what I do every week. That's it for this week, you guys, of The Offensive Line. Be sure to follow us wherever you get your podcasts, and you can watch our full podcast episodes on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. I will see you guys next week, and as always, Des didn't catch it.